In our last podcast, we talked about the war raging between Delta Dental of Washington and several of the docs up there, and great podcast on Dental Town with Howard Fran on that very topic. And we just got a letter from one of our clients from Delta Dental, and it talks about how they're going to be decreasing their reimbursement rates. This is going hog wild. And we're starting to see this more and more across the country, and we're going to start our podcast right there.
Computers are live, mixers up, levels are good, equalizers good, ready channels 1 and 2. Mic is live in 3, 2, 1, roll it. Welcome, listeners, to the My Practice, My Business podcast, where we teach dentists and their teams how to reclaim forgotten profitability in dentistry with our clinical business of dentistry training. And now, the host of our show, the clinical director at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
Hello, podcast listeners. It's Dr. Rob with My Practice, My Business, and today I'm joined with my sweetheart, business partner and general manager at My Practice, My Business, Tracy Thorup. Say hi, Trace.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you here today, and we're going to start out with a letter that I received from one of our clients. It's dated June 21st, 2019, and I quote, "Important notice regarding the Delta Dental of Massachusetts fee methodology. Dear provider, Delta Dental of Massachusetts has received approval for a new payment methodology that was originally submitted to the Massachusetts Division of Insurance in June 2018. The new fee methodology is applicable to the Delta Service of Massachusetts, Delta Dental Premier, and Delta Dental PPO networks. Effective on October 1st, 2019, Delta Dental Premier and Delta Dental PPO fees will be, drum roll please, that wasn't actually in the quote here, I'm still quoting, will be decreased by 8.8% for non-incentive standard fee schedule rates from the corresponding 2018 Delta Dental Premier and Delta Dental PPO fees. Your practice may be eligible for an incentive fee schedule for locations where all providers, 1, participate in the Total Choice PPO and Premier network, and 2, accept electronic payment EFTs from Delta Dental of Massachusetts. The reduction from the corresponding 2018 Delta Dental Premier and Delta Dental PPO fees will be 7.8% instead of 8.8%, end of quote, meaning that they'll only lower your fees across the board by 7.8% instead of 8.8% if you take electronic fund transfers and you also participate in the Total Choice PPO and Premier Network programs. Wow. That's amazing. God bless Delta Dental. A nice 8.8% decrease.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so great.
Wasn't it 20% up in the state of Washington? Didn't they get hit with 20% across the board a few years ago?
If I recall, yes.
I mean, don't quote me. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And this is funny, but if you sign up for their super crappy patient plan and take your reimbursement payments via EFTs with the worst reporting and accounting we've ever seen in dentistry, you'll only get 7.8% decrease. Tracy, what have we done with all of our EFTs over the last 2 weeks?
Those EFTs are gone out of our office completely.
And why did we get rid of them?
Think of it from an accounting perspective. We're receiving notifications that certain payments are going into our bank account on a certain day with trace numbers. But when you go in and look, it's not being put into the bank account on that specific day, or they might be bundling multiple payments in a single EFT transfer. It's too hard to account for.
Let me translate that for you, docs. When you get a payment, sometimes it's not always connected to the patient at that time. That pretty much a better way to put it.
That's pretty much it.
And what an accounting nightmare. Oh, my gosh. Doc, do you even know what your DOC is per hour, your direct operating cost per hour? Next, have you calculated your profitability of your top 20 procedures you do? In other words, are the reimbursement rates Delta is giving you right now allowing for corporate profits, break-even rates, or are you running at a deficit? I'm telling you right now, you're probably running at a deficit right now on especially composite fillings based on your DOC per hour. So now they want to decrease it even more?
That's exactly my point. Why would you need to take even more off of there? Just dig yourself further into a hole, Doc.
That's crazy. That's exactly what we're doing. Let me quote here some more. Quote, we've had many productive conversations over the past 2 years with dentists, lawmakers, the public, and trade groups, including the Massachusetts Dental Society. Of special importance was the dialogue with the Delta Dental Premier and Delta Dental PPO networks of dentists. We listened intently to your views and heard that ensuring a strong, sustainable Delta Dental Premier network is a top priority, end of quote. Now, let me just back up here because, it sounds like we're just trashing Delta Dental. We're not. In fact, at my practice, my business, we love insurance plans because we have learned through conversations with them how to increase revenue on their plans by providing value-added service and charging for CDT codes the majority of you are not charging for. That's what's crazy. You all go out and buy these books, coding books by individuals who never took a PPO plan in their entire practicing career, okay? They may have ghostwriters. You actually, if you would just sit down like in our last podcast and read the ADA code book, the CDT code book, and study it, then you might pick up on things that you could be charging for that you're not charging for. So what's really crazy here, having said that, having fully disclosed that we love insurance companies, we've learned how to play nice and work with them because they're just a business like any other business out there. They're providing a product and they're trying to make money at doing it. They just do it way better than we do because we're all these little solo practitioners out there. And DSOs and corporate dentists aren't any smarter than the solo practitioners out there. I know that. And yet here we are trying to make a dollar, and they're just corporations trying to make dollars too. That's the bottom line. It's no different. What I really want to know, Trace, is who in the world were the dentists that they had on their productive conversations?
That's a good question. I think that when they make these changes like this, they need to release those names.
Because what dentist in their right mind would say, yeah, we want to have a sustainable Delta Dental. We're willing to take another hit in the reimbursements that we're getting. And didn't that person say that these are coming across the nation?
I had a specific conversation with a Delta Dental rep last week in regards to a whole other discussion about Medicare. But I did ask her specifically about this discount or lower fee that these dentists are going to be taking over in that Massachusetts area. I asked her if she expected any of that to happen over here in the state of Utah, given that we were the second lowest reimbursed in the nation as it is. She said to me, well, it's already happened over in your neighboring state in Arizona. It happened in Washington. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in your state very soon.
That's just absolutely ridiculous. That's all I can say. I want to get a copy of the dialogue with the network dentists from these productive conversations. I'm sure that we're not probably allowed to get that information, but come on. Who are these dentists that are actually having this kind of conversation with Delta Dental saying, yes, please lower our reimbursement rates even more? Obviously, these dentists don't know business. They don't have a clue on what DOC and COG is that we teach at My Practice, My Business. Drives me insane. When I hear the phrase ensuring a strong, sustainable Delta Dental Premier Network, all I really hear is Delta Dental's capturing more of our dental profits so they can answer to their shareholders with positive corporate profits. And you can't blame them, can you?
Not at all.
I mean, they're a corporation. They're just in the business to make money.
Like any other business.
Like any other business. Okay, continuing on, I quote, in support of these changes, we're preparing a comprehensive mailing for dentists that will include information on the 2019-2020 Delta Dental Premier and 2019-2020 Delta Dental PPO fee schedules. Timing for notifying Delta Dental of Massachusetts of any changes to your practice is critical. If you can expect to receive that mailing in mid-July. We will also post a recorded presentation to our provider portal that will walk you through these materials. If you have questions, please call us. We sincerely appreciate. This is a killer. This is the caption. Ready? Quote, we sincerely appreciate the quality care you provide to Delta Dental members, and we value our continued working relationship, end of quote. Come on, docs. decreased reimbursement rates and quality care are oxymorons. You can't have decreased reimbursements and provide true quality dental care. That actually came out in the ADA news the beginning of the year. This was pretty ironic when we had Dr. Kessler's rebuttal from the ADA, because he says, recently we have helped constituents with third-party payers in the following areas. We've provided guidance in appeals process, contacting dental plans to revise explanation of benefits language that could potentially damage patient relationship, and connecting individual dentists with dental plans consulting dentists. The reason why they did this, the reason why the ADA is trying to help out there, is because they perceive that we members of the ADA are not getting the support we need from our own association. Our own doctors out there are saying, and I quote, "We're tired of arbitrary and capricious policy and reimbursement changes by insurance companies." End of quote. That's a great quote, because that's what we just explained just now.
Exactly. It happens so often.
And then the next one is, how do I keep my practice growing and thriving while providing the highest quality care to my patients in an environment of competition and pressure from insurance companies? End of quote. It can't be done, people. You can't have it both ways. Well, the other thing that really killed me, and I'm a big proponent of wanting everybody to have dental care. And so people that are on Medicare plans, we have places. In Utah, we have places, and I know in other states you have places. You have the dental schools. You have entities that we have corporate dentistry that takes Medicare and Medicaid plans, because they've learned how to turn those into profit centers. And we have other entities out there, volunteer entities, like in Utah, we have the Northeast Clinic that my practice, me and my team members volunteered at for probably the first 15 years of my practicing career. So we're able to take care of these patients. But when it comes to running your private practice, when it comes to running your own business, you can't afford to take Medicare. And so what little trick did we see this last couple of weeks that Delta Dental is trying to bully us into taking Medicare through kind of claiming it's part of their PPO plan?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so for Medicare, Delta Dental reached out to us roughly a week ago, stating that they had a Medicare PPO plan available that they were encouraging us very strongly to join. The two big factors that they were trying to throw at us was, number one, we would keep our same PPO fee schedule that we currently have, so they would not be decreasing the fees. A lot of doctors will associate Medicare with lower fees, so they wanted to make sure to emphasize that information.
There was a PPO plan, not a Medicare plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the second point that she wanted to make was that the cards themselves that these new members would have specifically say PPO. So when they call our office asking if we accept their plan, say the word PPO, and we say yes, then they are going to be in trouble if we truly are not in network with this Medicare PPO plan, because they will not pay a dime out of network.
And it's misleading to the patient, because they'll call in and say, I have Delta Dental PPO plan, which they're being coached to say. And we say, yeah, we take Delta Dental PPO. Then they come in, get some work done, and then we find out it's PPO Medicaid.
Exactly.
That's a problem.
And
right?
Here's my question looking at it is ultimately great. You keep our PPO plan, which is already low, but it is what it is. But given that this is a Medicare plan, I pretty much can guarantee that these people are paying lower premiums, which means something's got to give in that fee schedule.
Because they set their fees not based on geographical area or based on our fee-for-service fees. They set their fees based on the premiums they take in and how much they pay out, period.
So if you've got a PPO fee schedule with lower premiums that are being paid, what items are going to be not covered by this insurance company? And that's where I'm curious to see things unfold, but it will not be at our practice.
The thing that Tracy and I looked at too is they have the Premier plan and then they have the PPO plan. And to make a long story short, what we found is patients that are paying for the Premier plan are paying a higher premium, but their actual out-of-pocket's higher too. And versus people that are on a PPO plan, their out-of-pocket is less because there's a higher coverage table, and they're getting pushback. Delta's getting pushback from their clients saying, why am I paying a premium fee for this Premier plan when the actual coverage is less. Having said that, the Premier plan for us dentists is a better plan for us because it's paying at a higher rate table than the PPO plan. It's just that the patient has a higher out-of-pocket expense, which I'm happy for patients to pay for their dentistry. I'm happy to tell them that their out-of-pocket expense is going to be higher. I don't have a problem with that. But it's a little misleading. Isn't that what we saw?
Very misleading. And so when you have a patient who's paying more out of pocket for not only their premiums, but also for their dental services, you can see how a patient might start getting a little frustrated and move down to a PPO plan where they have a little bit less out of pocket. And I have a feeling we're going to see that Premier plan start to fade out.
Well, in our trainings, we often talk about the actual percent profitability in the practice. In fact, we really hammer down on direct operating costs and what you're profitable on. So if you have a PPO plan that basically is writing off 40% of your fee-for-service fee and your overhead's at 70%, you're already upside down. Now you have a PPO plan that's saying, well, we know you're 40%, you've taken a 40% hit in your fee-for-service fee. Now you're going to take a 48% hit in your fee-for-service fee.
How do you survive?
How do you survive? You come to the clinical business of dentistry,
That's right.
team training, and office manager training, and you learn what other offices have learned from our training, and that's how to reclaim forgotten profitability in dentistry again. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're the only ones out there teaching what we teach right now because we're the only ones that did a major investigation with dental insurance plans and found the truth. There's so many lies and misinformation that are pumped out there on can you provide value-added service and charge for it? And the answer is yes. Insurances can't come between the doctor-patient relationship. Even with that contract that you've signed, they still can't come between the doctor-patient relationship. I don't know why all of us in this field think that they can. They can't, even when they've signed a contract. You cannot increase your existing contracted rates at all, but you can create new ones for value-added service. And there's so many CDT codes that you are not currently billing for that you can bill the insurance company, and many of them they pay on, but the majority of them, it's an out-of-pocket expense for the patient. And the patient should be paying for their dentistry, not you, doc. And team members, that's where your raises come from, okay? There are carrying capacities in our business. If you want to increase in wages, get your doc to come out to our training. We'll show you how to get that raise. And docs, we'll show you how to increase revenue and be able to provide the highest quality of care that you're capable of providing. You won't feel like you have to buy the cheapest materials, the cheapest parts, and you won't have to buy from budget dental groups, anymore. We buy from the main suppliers, we get a great fee from them, and they provide an incredible service. It's a race to the bottom, trying to save 2%, 3%, 4% off of labs and supply companies when our company can teach you how to increase revenue from 25 to 35%. That's a big difference. Tracy, this is crazy. What's going on out here with what we're seeing with the decrease of insurances now, and then what we're seeing United Concordia do? And believe me, people, when I say insurance companies are exempt from collusion and antitrust laws. We're hoping that the McCarran-Ferguson Act takes place here, that the ADA has been pushing. Another great reason to be a member of the American Dental Association, okay? They do a lot of good for us. Yeah, they drive us crazy sometimes, but look at all the good they do. And if they can get these insurance companies to be, collusion and antitrust to be enforced with them and not exempt like they got many years ago, that would be a big plus in our favor. Because, man, I remember when Blue Cross Blue Shield used to reimburse way higher amounts than any of the other insurance companies. And when competition existed like that, we would push our employers and push the HR departments into going with Blue Cross Blue Shield because they were the best insurance out there. And their rates were, we were only taking like about a 20, 25% hit on our fee-for-service fees instead of 40 to 50%. That's what we hope that goes through, that they become, that they have to report to the collusion and antitrust laws just like everybody else does. But that's the power play. Tracy, do you got any parting comments for our teams out there?
Parting comments on this one is going to be number one, read your contract and know your state laws. Docs, office managers, if you can, please reach out to us. We're here to help you. Office manager training is available. You've got the team training. We have the skills and the abilities to show you what you can do to finally get paid fairly for what you do. And that goes for everybody on that team.
And we guarantee a return on investment or your money back. Who else does that? Thank you so much for tuning into the My Practice, My Business podcast. You can find additional podcasts you may have missed that will help you with your dental practice at Apple iTunes Podcasts. And remember to become a subscriber to our podcast. Many of you have asked how to help support the My Practice, My Business podcast. If you have enjoyed the program and information you received today, the best way to help is to leave us a 5-star review. Thanks again for allowing us to be a part of your day.